Hi everyone, today we are going to be discussing an article called Venezuela Crisis, the Political Battle and the People Caught in the Middle by BBC. And we are also going to be referencing Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving. So, to give you a run through of what's happening in Venezuela right now, the people are living under fear and paranoia under President Maduro's rule. They are experiencing violence in the street, their economy has depleted, and they're overall not doing well as a country. So what the people fear most is companions, death, and change. So they fear companions because they distrust foreign troops on their soil, especially America under President Trump's rule. On page 8, it says, bearing the most radical, few welcome the idea of foreign troops on Venezuelan soil. And this just kind of emphasizes their need to stay away from these other countries, which just leaves them battling their own fight. And this can actually be compared to what happened in Rip Van Winkle. It says on page 158 through 159, though rather shy and distrustful of the new acquaintance, Rip complied with his usual alacrity, and mutually relieving each other, they clambered up a narrow gully, apparently dry bed of a mountain torrent. So on this trek, he sees a leprechaun, and he wants nothing to do with this guy originally, but eventually allows him to come on his travels. But this is not what's happening in Venezuela right now. They want nothing to do with other powers. So another thing that they fear in Venezuela on the streets right now to this day is death, because a young woman by the name of Carmela was actually interviewed for BBC by saying, I'm too scared of them to protest, Carmela explains, unwilling to give her full name. They're capable of killing people who take part. I have a 6-year-old boy and can't risk leaving him with no mother. So the reason that she doesn't speak out is out of fear. She doesn't want to die, but more importantly, she doesn't want her own son to die. And if she does get killed in this battle, then she has to lose her son forever and let him grow up all scared and alone. And Rip Van Winkle in the story, he doesn't want his dog to leave him. He wants to stay with him forever because he's already pushing away against his own wife, and so his dog's pretty much the only one he has for him. But on page 160 it says, he again called and whistled after his dog. He was only answered by the cawing of a flock of idle crows. So he loses this connection after falling asleep for many, many years. He loses his connection with his most beloved companion and his friend. And when he actually goes to greet his dog, call my name, he growls at him and runs away. So that also symbolizes a death, a fear of death on both ends. And Camila is afraid of having either herself die, but Rip Van Winkle actually experiences this death. So a final fear is the fear of change, and this one is natural to Venezuelans, Rip Van Winkle, and basically a lot of people, no matter what part of the country you live in, first world or third world, change can be a really scary thing. On page 8 of the article, it says, if a change comes, it must be for better, not for worse. Not to allow the opposition to take everything we've built over the years, echoed another, arm clapping and shouting of Viva Maduro. So they don't mind change. But if it happens, they want it to be for a good thing. They don't want it to affect them negatively because they're already suffering through so much in their country. Rip, on the other hand, he experiences a negative change. He doesn't wish for any better change or for worse change, but he actually is just affected by a sudden burden after he wakes up from a long, long sleep. It says on page 163, Rip's heart died away at hearing at those sad changes in his home and friends, and finding himself thus alone in the world. He had no courage to ask after any more friends. Page 163, as stated as before. So, why this is relevant to this day? It's because Rip Van Winkle was published so far long ago, in like, I want to say the 1800s, but it was published so far long ago, and this crisis in Venezuela is happening today. So the fact that these two things, centuries apart, can be compared is why both things should still be referenced, and why it should still be talked about today, basically. Let's see. Though in the United States, we don't have much experience with what's happening in Venezuela right now because we've never lived there, we don't dream of going there, but it is still important to call your attention to what's happening and take influence and do what you can to help. Thank you so much.